Call him the King of the Hill. Kawasaki's Blair Morgan cruised to the 1997 National Motocross Championship, dominating the season in both the 125s and the 250s. Morgan begins his title defense today, and that domination that he certainly enjoyed last year will come under fire in the series opener. Joining Morgan with Kawasaki is his teammate and biggest challenger, Jean-Sébastien Roy. Roy is coming off a very successful season of AMA racing. Roy has become the instant favorite for the race. But let's not rule out 1996 champ Marco Dubé. He's riding a Suzuki and determined to be among the leaders. And our Western contingent has shown they're not about to roll over. Justin Huska looking fast for 98, and Chris Pomeroy looks good on a Honda. We drop the green flag on the 1998 season next. Snapple presents the National Motocross Championships. Brought to you by Snapple. The best stuff is in here. Honda. We build better sports bikes. And by Suzuki. The ride you've been waiting for. National Motocross Championship Series kicks off at RJ Motorsport Park in Barrie, Ontario. And what weather we've had this weekend. Clouds, showers, high wind warning, and even the possibility of a tornado all exist today. Hi, I'm Eric Hollow. And speaking of tornadoes, how about Blair Morgan, the story of 1997? And what a coup for Kawasaki and Ron Ashley to sign both Blair Morgan and Jean-Sébastien Roy. With more on that, here's my co-host, Mark Travers.
Thanks a lot, Eric. Blair, that was a dream season for you in 1997. I know you're looking to repeat in 98. Tell us how you feel.
Feeling really good right now. The bikes are working awesome. The Kawasaki's are working really well. The track's muddy today, but hopefully I'll get a good start and be out front.
In the second half of the Kawasaki duel, his partner, but also his competitor, Jean-Sébastien Roy. Jean, how's the Kawasaki holding up out there?
Really good. Like Blair says, the track is pretty muddy for now, but later today it's going to dry up, and I'm sure both Kawasaki's going to be up in the front. The bike is working really good, and hopefully everything's going to do well for us.
Beautiful. It looks like the fellas are ready to rip it up.
If you've never witnessed the spectacle of a motocross event, you're in for a huge treat. 40 riders drag racing into quarter number one, and only a few will have the proper line through. The ones that do will have the best chance at victory here today. Making his way back is my co-host, Mark Travers. Mark, the start is so important here. Tell me about the riders and how they're going to set up for it.
Well, Eric, it's known as the hole shot, and it is the most important factor in a rider's strategy. You think about it. He gets out in front. He's able to ride his race. The people who are behind him, they have to play catch-up, and on a day like today, that's going to be very important.
A lot has changed in this series in the last year, and earlier we had a chance to talk to President of the CMRC, Mark Stanley-Brass.
Well, for 98, we have a new sponsor on board, being Snapple, as well as Karcher. Our series has expanded from coast to coast. We've introduced 2 new venues, one in Riverglade, New Brunswick, and another in Lethbridge, Alberta. The rider participation from coast to coast is incredible now. Once again, riders from the Nova Scotia right to Vancouver Island. Top riders such as Jean-Sébastien Roy and other riders from out west. It's going to make for a really good series.
Well, let's take a closer look at the 1998 schedule.
Well, Eric, for 1998, the National Series has expanded to 7 races, and that means we're going coast to coast. And for those of you who watch motocross racing on TV, it's terrific. You get a lot of great angles, but there's nothing like coming out to an event and seeing it live. The smells, the noise, it's incredible.
Well, it's going to be incredible. We're set for a great afternoon of racing. The first moto is up next. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Snapple National Motocross Championships. The riders, they're in the gate. The starter is checking the line right now. See that finger pointing, checking it all out. We've got our leader, Blair Morgan, last year's champion, right beside number 2, Marco Dubé. Engines revving. They begin to increase. 5-second board is now up. Listen to the increase in the engines. Starter goes. The gate has dropped. This 125 Pro Motocross event is on. Hole shot is going to go to number 2. It's Marco Dubé who grabs it. And he'll look who's in second. Blair Morgan's going to grab second spot. They round out after the first corner. A nice, clean start for just about it. Looks like everybody got through the first corner just fine, Mark.
Yeah, it's a very impressive start, Eric, for Marco. You watched him come out of the gate. He pushed his way to the back of the bike, and he just went for it.
It's interesting. He and Blair Morgan going side by side, and that's where a lot of the hole shots have come from on this track.
Yeah, and watching the practice runs, you notice that most of the fellows who were getting the hole shot were coming from the middle of the pack.
Look at the air they're getting in the Twin Peaks. Just marvelous. After they've reconditioned this track after all the rain, they've made the jumps just a little bit higher.
Well, it's neat to see when they get the big cats out there. They're really pushing the jumps out for the pros. They want to get a lot of air. It's good for the spectators.
Check the closeness of this racing as they head back into the lower part of the track.
You know, it's an interesting dynamic on this course because it does have the high ground and the low ground, and the higher stuff is definitely going to be drier at this point in the day.
We're going to watch in just a little while. They're going to head towards that finish line area. You can see the banner, the finish line banner, just waving like crazy from the wind. But they reconditioned those jumps and the triples there. They're getting all kinds of air as they come through there.
Marco's really pushing his Suzuki here. He's starting to increase his lead on Blair. And I'll tell you what, it seems like he's really comfortable on that machine.
Look at that. Boy, is he ever beginning to stretch. What has gone on with last year's champion, Blair Morgan? He has fallen back very, very quickly. Already a round to complete, one lap in this very first event of the day. Look at this. Look how much they've closed up now. Blair Morgan is right behind Marco Dubé.
Looks like Ryan Gall just picked his way into third place. He's got some ground to make up, though, if he wants to press for the lead.
All right, watch the leaders. Here goes Blair, makes a move. No, he does not go. Try to the inside, and it was not going to happen there. Marco's driving very defensively right now.
He was, but you see how strong he was coming out of that corner. He did not want Blair to take the lead, and he just stuffed him right on the corner.
They're in their first corner of this track now. Let's see how they, when they come out to see what kind of shape they're in. No, still same. Marco's going to hold on to that lead. Number 2, our leader. Number 1 in second spot. Back with our leaders. Look at this. Still Marco Dubé. Blair Morgan has now got some serious competition on his hands. Jean-Sébastien Roy is looking to make a move.
He certainly is, Eric. He was a couple of seconds behind Blair on the last lap, but he has made it up totally, and he's right on his heels.
He goes into this area where that's where Blair tried to make the move on Marco. He doesn't do it there. They move now into the corner 1 area of the track. This is where we lose him ever so for just a moment or two. And then it makes it a little more exciting, doesn't it?
They come blazing back out on that straightaway. There they come.
It is still Marco Dubé, number 2, our leader. Blair Morgan, number 1, second place. Jean-Sébastien Roy is in third spot, but gaining very, very quickly. Back with our leaders, and just as we said, they were beginning to settle in. Mark, it looks like Marco's now got some competition for the first time in several laps. Look at this, Blair Morgan now beginning to hunt for that first place spot.
Well, you know that Blair is just chipping away inch by inch, just gaining some momentum, just waiting for his spot. You know he's gonna really push for that lead.
Now the lead. Look at this. Sébastien Roy tries to make a move on Morgan. Is he going to do it? They get behind the bushes. We try and get first place is okay. If we wait for them to enter, no, he has grabbed second spot. You bet. So our order is now Marco Dubé, number 2 in first place. It is number 80, Jean-Sébastien Roy in second, and then it is last year's champion, number 1, Blair Morgan in third spot.
Well, it's time now to find out more about the man, Marco Dubé, and our rider profile.
Rider profile, the making of a national champion.
Okay, Marco, 1996, you're the Canadian national champion. In 1997, you finished second. Those are some fairly impressive results, but you've made a big change. You used to ride Honda, now you're with Suzuki.
Yeah, this year we changed for Suzuki because I got a very good support from Suzuki. Good, technical support. I got mechanics, for all week long. That's the most important thing because the bikes, we need to have a bike, ready for the weekend for all the national. And I think that's going to be a good thing this year because last year I got some problems with the bike. I got some problems, and we're going to do our best for this weekend.
Now, in making the change from Honda to Suzuki, has there been a lot of practice time and getting used to the new machines?
I got like, after 2 weeks, I was, ready on this bike because I used to ride the Suzuki like in 93, 94, 95, and I like to ride in the yellow bike.
I can imagine that. Now, a rider of your caliber, finishing second just isn't good enough. You want to finish first. You want to take the championship. Have you been doing anything in the off season to prepare yourself? I know you had a couple injuries last year. What are you thinking?
We make a lot of training in state and in Quebec, like since 1 month and a half, and all the tests and the tests on the bike, and a lot of training on the track, and also outside the track, like in the gym and the swimming pool. I think it's going to be ready for sure because I'm going to give all my best for this year for sure.
Will we see any change? Here comes Marco Dubé, first place. He's okay. Now Jean-Sébastien was okay. Oh, Blair Morgan has dropped way back on this one. Way back, and again, it could be some of the slower bikes that just, not on purpose, but got in his way.
Yeah, no doubt. There was 2 or 3 bikes that were in between Jean-Sébastien and Blair, so there's no doubt that could be causing some problems.
Now, look at it. Number 80, Jean-Sébastien Roy. No, he gets caught behind a slower bike. He is on the move. Look at him. Watch closely. Oh, he's picking up all kinds of space. He is on the move now. Here's our leader. Number 2, Marco Dubé on the Suzuki, has held the lead from the very beginning of this moto. We'll watch as he comes into the final turn. We await his arrival. Jean-Sébastien Roy is close. Is he close enough? Here they go. They're heading for the checkered flag. It is not going to be enough. Here's our final as we see, taking the checkered flag, number 2, Marco Dubé. Jean-Sébastien Roy, not that far away, but he'll settle for second spot, first time out. Let's take a look at the results from the first moto of the day, Mark.
Yeah, it was a great race, Eric, and I tell you what, Marco Dubé, he led from start till finish. Very strong for him, coming right out for the first race of the day and doing well. But, Sébastien Roy, who didn't have a very good start, he pressed him really hard there at the end and only finished, a bike lengths back.
Well, here's a great opportunity to find out more about our competitors. Here's the rider profile on Justin Huska.
Okay, Justin, late in the 97 season, you had a crash, put you out for a few months. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I was doing an American National. I crashed really hard and ruptured my spleen and bruised kidneys and cracked my hip. And it gave me 6 months' time off to recuperate everything, so I wasn't able to ride the bikes. But I feel good. I mean, I've had the bikes 3 weeks now. It's short notice, but I think I'm ready to go.
Now, mentioning the bikes, last year you were riding Suzuki, now you're with Honda. What's the setup like?
The setup is actually quite a bit different. I mean, with the Hondas, I didn't have to worry too much about the motors. I mean, when they come off the showroom, they're pretty much ready to go. Suspension-wise, we just dial it into my weight and ability.
Now, you're primarily a Western rider, not as much experience in the East. What do you think about the RJ track?
I think it's a really good track. It's sandy. It's comparable to the stuff that I ride at home, practicing and racing. I'm looking forward to riding it and having a good finish here today.
Welcome back to the Snapple Motocross Championships. We're almost set to go with moto number 2. Mark, the weather's turned wonderful all of a sudden today. Isn't it great?
It's an amazing day out here in Barrie. You gotta love it.
The starter has checked the line, and the engines are cranked. We're talking Pro 250 Moto number 1 this time around. I think we're going to see something different, not only a different class, mind you, but track conditions in Moto number 2. Still the 30-second board. We're waiting. It counts down. 5-second board is now up. Riders revving high. Engines. Starter releases the gate. It's gone. They scream towards corner 1. It is going to be number 1. Last year's reigning champion grabs the whole shot, Mark.
That's right. Followed closely. Coming out of the shot by Chris Pomeroy. We've got Marty Burr, and we've got Jean-Sébastien Roy to round out the top 4.
Well, that's exactly what Blair Morgan has wanted. First time around, he finally got it in the 250s. Yeah, look at the gap now. Just a matter of a heartbeat between the two of them. Jean-Sébastien Roy just kind of chipping away at that lead, and it is just really down to a missed shift or perhaps a missed breaking point at this stage of the game.
You know, Eric, each one of these positions poses different race strategies, and it's interesting to watch that when you're watching them ride. Now, Blair Morgan, he's out in front. He has to ride very controlled, and he's got to not make any mistakes. Jean-Sébastien Roy, he's in second place. He's the one that has to be the aggressor.
Almost nose to tail now.
Here they go into that turn as they lead towards the finish line. Is he gained? Not appreciably this time around. There he goes. Very close now. Very close. On the attack mode. Still our leader, number 1, Blair Morgan. Definitely got some better line through that area. As he begins to increase, we get, by the time they get to the straightaway at the finish line, again, we're going to see maybe more of a gain. Maybe we'll see that pass coming into that corner.
Eric, Jean-Sébastien only ran in one of the National Series last year. That was the one in Quebec. So he and Blair have not raced against each other in championship competition. So this is the kind of situation where... Here he goes. He's pushing. He's really pushing. But this is the kind of situation where they get to know each other. They get to know how each other rides, and they're going to find out weaknesses in each other's games.
Not going to happen in this corner, but boy, it was close again.
Eric, right now we have a very interesting race going on here between our 4th rider, or I guess, well, number 5, but he's in 4th position, Ryan Gauld, and number 2, Marco Dubé. They're really pushing each other going back to the top end of the course.
Track tips, the shortest way to victory.
This track's a little different than others. It's very fast. We got to start where you get into like 4th gear on both bikes, which is usually not seen at most tracks. And a lot of the turns are quite as sharp. It's a very long track, demanding. It's going to get really rough during the end of the day. Lots of high-flying jumps. Right after the start, there's a huge step-up that we got to do, and that'll be tough because you're going to be in the middle of the pack on the start, trying to obviously fighting positions and at the beginning. And in the back section, they're putting in a whoop section now today, and that's going to be a really, really good place to pass because it's so fast down there. Everybody's going pretty much the exact same speed, and that's going to be a really good area to try to pass somebody later in the motos because people are going to get tired, and that's a really good area to pass. And at the finish straight, we got like another semi-whoop section with its finish line triple, which is going to be good too, and put on a little show for the crowd. And that's pretty much the track, I guess. It's really fast, and the way I would attack it is just as aggressive as I can, but still stay relaxed, so I can don't get tired and stay focused.
Our leader is now just entering the straightaway, and he's got the last lap flag. There's 1 lap remains. Now we'll put a clock on it. See if our 2nd place man, Blair Morgan, has made any impact at all on that lead. It doesn't look like it at all.
I think that Jean-Sébastien has picked up some ground on him.
It very well could be. Number 5, Ryan Gauld. You had a chance to talk to him about various things, in between motos. He's a pretty interesting guy.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the youngest riders on the tour. He's a local boy, lives about 30 minutes away, and he loves this course because he's practicing on it all the time.
He's not going to love this, though. There goes Marco, number 2, Marco Dubé. Cruises by him. It almost looked effortless on Marco's part. I'm sure it wasn't, but it certainly made it look that way. Our leader takes the Twin Peaks area one more time. A sharp left-hander digs in and accelerates. Just about half the track left now before he takes the checkered flag. Here's our leader. Here he heads into that final corner. He'll take that corner, then he'll go through the jumps, the triple, and come and grab the checkered flag. Here he is, number 80, Jean-Sébastien. Wow, beautiful. Showboats a little for the crowd. Hey, what a beautiful ride for him. Talk about coming from well back in the pack and really commanding the attention of everybody watching.